So we want to take some of the work that we began doing today in this wonderful conversation, both explicitly performatorily as well as what sounds like regular conversation, and take it further and involve you in a deeper way in the All-Stars performance approach. So let's begin in the following way. I'd like three standing circles. You can push their chairs back, and you're just going to stand up, and you don't want to carry anything. And just, so it's like circles of about 5 or 6 people each. And you make a nice round circle. 3 circles. Yeah, it's probably more than, it's about, 5 or 6 people each. All right, we have a circle here, we have a circle here. Okay, wonderful. Now, I know you all are, or many of you are wearing name tags, but what you might want to do is either turn them upside down or put them in your pocket, because they might add some confusion for this first exercise. All right? So here's what you're going to do. You're going to introduce yourselves to one another. And I realize that some of you may know each other and some of us are strangers, so that's fine. But the name that I want you to introduce yourself with is not your name that is on the name tag, but it could be perhaps your nickname, if you have a nickname. Perhaps it's your middle name that most people don't know, or these people in this circle don't know, or it's your superhero name. I am Wonder Woman. So nobody else can be Wonder Woman, but you all have, I'm sure, if you can think of it or feel willing to share it, a superhero name, okay? And actually, let's do this. Given that I'm the only well-known superhero name, you should make up a superhero name, okay? Not one that, not Spider-Woman or Spider-Man or anything like that. But it's your choice.
Qualify?
What?
Does Gilbert qualify as a superhero?
It could, yes. So what's going to happen is I want you to decide which name you're going to use, your nickname, your middle name, your superhero name, and just introduce yourselves around the circle. And the way I would suggest you do it is you literally say, Gabrielle will say whatever her name is, and then you'll say, just go around several times so that you can begin to memorize and learn each other's names. Okay? So let's take a minute to do that.
Hastings.
Okay, all right, good. I think you've memorized everybody's names.
Hastings.
Good, okay, thank you. Okay, very, very good. Very, very good. So at All Stars, we make a very, very big deal about applauding, so you get applause right now just for that so far. Okay, very good. Okay, so here's how the exercise goes. One of you is going to start in each circle, okay? And the way you're going to start is you're going to point to somebody else in the circle, and you're going to say their name, the name that you've just learned, right? And then they, in turn, are going to point to somebody else and say that name, and so on and so forth. And we just go around pointing to somebody and saying this new name that you've just learned, right? If you point to somebody and you like, oh my God, what's the name, can't remember their name, or you say the wrong name, or you just completely blank, whatever it is, at that moment, you throw your hands up with enormous enthusiasm and you say, we made a mistake! And everybody in the circle gives you thunderous applause. In fact, gives the circle thunderous applause. Right? So let's practice that. On the count of 3, I'd like everybody to, as enthusiastically and as passionately as you possibly can muster up, to say, we made a mistake. 1, 2, 3. We made a mistake! And then you applaud. Woo! Awesome! And then, let's say it was Betsy who led us in this mistake. She leaves the circle, goes to another one. And what is your name?
Bit.
What?
Well, you didn't have to say it made sense. Bit.
Okay,
B-I-T.
bit. Okay, just checking. And then she yells, bit, right? And like you hope that everybody hears. You don't stop, but you notice that someone has joined the circle, and so you pay attention, and then you're in the game. Now, you must be kind. Do not point to her right away, because she needs to learn some of the new names, some of the names, right? And so you might make it. We can come back. Bit. You might end up in all different circles, okay? But you might make a lot of mistakes. And notice we made a mistake, okay? An enormous enthusiasm, but you get to run around and go to all these different circles. Okay, make sense? Yeah. Okay, and then one last thing is, if it was Betsy, again, who had to leave the circle, and if she pointed to Lady V, then Lady V and got your name wrong, then you would start the circle again. So whoever was pointed to is who picks up the action again. Does that make sense? All right, let's go. Begin. Oh, decide who's starting. Decide who's starting.
Galileo.
Like man.
Okay, good. Lead.
Geometry overlord.
Slowly.
Okay, this is a beautiful mistake. He made a mistake? Okay, so then what do we do? Big applause,
We made a mistake. Marie. We made a
Galileo.
Galileo.
No, that's a mistake. That's a mistake. She just came in. Oh,
Sorry,
Galileo.
Galileo.
that's a mistake.
It's a mistake.
Come over here.
So I go? She's brand new too, though.
Oh yeah.
Someone who's been here. Someone
They got him
like
on.
man.
Just shout your name.
Kung Fu Joe.
Pointed.
Oh, sorry, what do you? Ryan.
Oh. All right. Okay.
Kung Fu Joe.
Okay, you start us off. Chris.
Evil geometry overload.
Hastings.
Mike Man.
Mike Man.
There's no one.
Oh no, I'm sorry. We made a mistake.
All right. Good job. How was that? Great. Right. Why was it great?
Because we made a mistake.
Forget yourself. It's so hard to remember everybody's name that you forget yourself.
Yeah, you sort of get out of your way.
yeah.
What else? How was that? What was that like to do?
You focus on other people, because that's a game, as you have to be, so you're trying to, everybody.
Yes.
And you're incentivized to know who everybody is.
Yes.
Because you don't want to make the mistake.
Now, okay, so right, exactly. So, but what about the fact that you get applauded when you make a mistake? What was that like?
You stop worrying about it. You stop worrying about getting it right.
But even so, you still do, right? Or some people did. There's it does make it easy.
Making it easier to get it right because there's less pressure on you.
Did anybody,
The easiest names are the hardest ones. We have more people knocked out on easy names than we did hard.
oh, really? Yeah, yeah.
Lady V was good. What were you gonna say, Lady V?
I was gonna say that it made it easier to like, well, it made you want to make a mistake like on purpose.
Because you get applauded. And you get to visit all these other people.
New people into your group and
Yeah.
just bring them right in.
Yeah.
I like the acceptance of it, like regardless of what name they give, you had to accept them for that name. Right?
Uh-huh.
They get the name wrong.
Yeah. So talk to me about what it's like to relate to mistakes this way. Even if it's just like, it sounds like, again, some people had a really, really good time doing it. Others were so like, I still don't want to make a mistake. But like, what's that like to sort of turn that upside down? Because I imagine that for most of us, it's upside down.
Kind of a Harry Potter moment. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah,
You make a joke of it, and it's
Yeah.
not scary anymore.
Yeah, it's not quite as scary, right? Yeah.
It was an ownership thing. I mean, I play this game plenty of times, so I could be a ringer in this, but I've never played it where we made the mistake.
Yes.
It's usually I made a mistake,
Yes.
and we still applaud it. But in this section, I mean, again, I relate this to Betsy and I being new here. I mean, we've made a lot of mistakes, and some of them were mine. I made exactly right. But so kind of with the acceptance of it, though, it's not like, oh man, I just sent out a mailing to 500 people with a letter missing. After I proofed it 10 times, it's like we look at each other like, well, we made the mistake together because we produced what's going on.
Yes, yeah.
So it's a combination of her mistakes is not just her mistakes, it's my mistakes, and same for. So it's very, we're doing this together.
Yes, yeah.
So
I'm really glad that you brought this up. So I teach this exercise a lot, and for years I've been doing I made a mistake. And then recently I decided I don't want to do that anymore. I want to try to, because this is challenge. I made a mistake is challenging enough, but let's see if we can push the envelope and say that it's we, because you're spot on, Antoine. I so agree with what you're saying. We produce the conditions in which mistakes are made. We together. And that doesn't mean that, there are no individuals and that, people don't do different things, but could we consider thinking about and looking at mistakes as something like, gee, how did we produce it, and what are we going to do about it? Yeah.
You didn't tell us to do it fast, but there was this interesting thing. So we all created the condition of the odd names, right, that were unfamiliar to
Yes.
us. But
This is
then
the evil geometry overlord speaking.
we played it really quickly. Like we created that condition.
Yes,
so
yes,
people
yes.
were
Make it
forced
hard.
to make it.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah. So you created the rules without there being a discussion about it, and I think that's what we humans do. We create the rules, but we sometimes don't even realize that we have. And so we can break the rules, we can make up new ones, and that's something that we're collectively responsible for.
And I think that's the collectiveness of the human nature, the mistake, when we say we, it's like no one is
Being
obsolete.
blamed.
Yeah, no, you do mistakes, everybody does. So
Yeah.
it's not like only certain kind of people that might do mistakes.
Yeah, right. I mean, we all know that there's all these books out there, fail fast, we talk about learning organizations and it's just like, yes, mistakes are wonderful. And we all know that, it's like when it comes to the real, it's just like, heck, they made a mistake, and we right, we blame ourselves, we blame each other, and so we offer this exercise as a way to perform our mistakes in a different way and to be playful with them and to see if we can, laugh, embrace, say it's we, and then study that. Not in some sort of necessarily alienated, way, but just like, wow, what did we do to produce this? Okay, very nice. Round of applause. Very nice. Find a partner, somebody you don't know. Please find a partner and stand with them. Gabrielle, you will demonstrate. Okay. Here is our next exercise, and it's a classic acting exercise. Thus, I asked the actress to join me. And this is sort of like at the beginning of every acting program, theater program, the world over. This exercise is done in the first class. And it's actually done throughout because it's a very important exercise about helping people to create connections with each other on stage or in front of the camera. Okay? And Gabrielle and I will demonstrate it for you, and then you'll get a chance to do it. Okay? So Gabrielle is going to be person A, and I'm going to be person B. And we are going to look at each other head on, and as if we are looking at ourselves in the mirror, as if we are each other's mirror image. Okay? And I'll start, even though I'm person B, I'll start, and I'm going to move very, very slowly. And Gabrielle's job is to move exactly at the same time so that we are creating a mirror image, right? And then you'll see when I go like this, let's see what happens. We're going to switch who's leading. So I'm going to start leading, and Gabrielle is, and we're working together to create that simultaneous performance. When I go like this, Gabrielle will lead, and we'll create a simultaneous performance. No. Oh, sure. Yeah. Give my part about an hour or so. Just joking. You know the exercise. So. Okay, and we start by just getting into a neutral position, and we look at each other's eyes. Take a breath, and I'm going to begin. All right, very good. So now you're going to do that, okay? So I want you to face each other, and why don't you fill in the circle? And decide who's person A and who's person B. Okay? And this is, as you notice, when Gabrielle and I did it, it's a silent exercise, complete silence. And when instead of a snap, I'm going to say switch. And you'll know then to switch who's leading. And you notice when Gabrielle and I did it, except for the snap, I think you might not have known who was leading, right? That's how focused and concentrated we are. Okay, so you know who's person A and person B? Person A will begin when I say go. A hint is to maintain eye contact the entire time. Your tendency might be like, oh my God, I have to look over there. Don't. You can use your peripheral vision, okay? Start by looking at each other. Person A begins. Go. Very good. Switch. Very nice. Okay, let's just stop for a second. Relax, relax. Very good. Let me give you a little bit of coaching. Yeah, no, actually,
With the one side walks off.
I saw the robot. There's a robot.
about half of us are like, it's like you literally can't see who's leading. It's, and then we've got some people who sort of like, we have the little bit of the John Travolta thing going on. And there's like, and that's great, except that if you notice that there's a gap, and this is what you want to pay attention to. So if you're here and somebody is, trying to catch up to you, that's the collective responsibility of the two of you to ensure that you're together. And most specifically, most importantly, it's the leaders. Okay? Does that make sense? So it's not like, would you please hurry up? The leader is what the leader is thinking. It's like, how do I have to change my performance so that we are together? Maybe you can't do what you thought you were going to be able to do, right? So let's keep that in mind. Start again, face each other. Whoever was leading is going to pick it up again. Make eye contact. Make eye contact for like 10 straight seconds to the point where it's like, oh my God, this is weird. 10 seconds. 10 seconds. And begin. Yeah, that's more like it. Very nice. Beautiful. Switch. Switch. Really good. Really good. Switch. 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 Now freeze where you are. And now I want you to continue to move together without a leader. Go. Still as if you're looking at yourself in the mirror. Nice. Nice. Maintain eye contact. Yeah, maybe you hardly move at all. It's a dance. Think of it as a dance. All right, great. Thank you. Okay, so I just heard a comment. I don't think I've had this much eye contact in I don't know how long. Say more, say more.
No, it was interesting.
How was it to have that much eye contact?
Nervous.
Yeah. Yeah. Did it make other people nervous too?
It's a very intimate.
It's very intimate.
Making that much eye contact is very intimate.
And for me, and I'm sure you may be able to relate to this, culturally, we do not make that kind of eye contact.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
And so how does it feel to do that? Does it feel okay? Does it feel
It's
like...
uncomfortable. I mean, I've learned in my career that I have to make eye contact when I'm doing business.
Yeah.
But if I can limit that, I'm going to do it. So that was uncomfortable.
Yeah, yeah. Did other people find it uncomfortable, and or did you love it?
I found it a little bit odd, but it was like more about like revealing myself to the other person. Like I didn't want to let the other person know who I'm really are.
Yeah.
But it was also healing on her end because I don't know her
Yeah.
power of.
Yeah. I think that, yes, there are very different cultural experiences and people do this in different ways. And I would say that we could do more than we realize in terms of seeing each other. Even if it's just like a little bit more. And to take that step is it's actually sort of bold because of the intimacy of it. What did it take to succeed, whatever that means? I guess meaning to create the simultaneous performance.
Really good peripheral vision. I was like, where is he? I can't know. It's like trying to see where.
Yeah.
That's not what you meant. No.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
She was burdened with someone who was rather poor.
Well, I heard a lot of giggles over on that side. What else?
We first, our marriage is gonna be okay. Strong about it. But one of the things, so when I was young, one of the things that I was taught was about negotiations is that often there's an invisible ball of power. And so you have to know when to hand over a little bit, you have to know when to pull back a little bit, you have to know, because it really is an invisible ball. When you see really tough negotiations, that's often what it looks. So that's almost.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're having to know when to leave. You're having to know when to let somebody else lead. And for me, that's a lot. It is a performance. It's what y'all were talking about whenever they go into the home of somebody that they may have never thought that they'd be in the home of, or they have to know when to be able to do the code switching sometimes, right? Things like that. So I really enjoy it.
So in simpler movements, kind of living proof God has a sense of humor from a coordination perspective, and obviously much more advanced movements. There were times, to your point, I could feel the dumbing down of movement to let me keep up. And he was done in a very trusting way, though. It was a good mix.
I would change like the dumbing down to the slowing down. But then also it was let's have some fun. So like, I tried doing like walk like an Egyptian. So it's how do you enjoy yourself meanwhile you're doing something that can be very serious.
Yeah. I was thinking about the dumbing down comment, and then also something that somebody said when we were discussing that conversation with the person from 400 years ago about patience. It's other. It's being with an other. It's not that one is superior and one is. Yes, we live in a culture where that's imposed on us about, you're supposed to be able to be fantastic at this and you're supposed to be able to do it that way or whatever. But it's just that it's other. And part of what we do in the performance work is to help you be more comfortable and more facile at not being yourself, at being other than who you are, and being able to be with someone who is different than you, and finding a way to create something together with that person. And that isn't that one is right and one is wrong. It's new. It's a dance. It's a negotiation.
But I also feel like there is so much we give ourselves like so much entitlement, like, oh, I am Hispanic or I'm Italian. So there is that barrier sometimes between humans that we don't get sometimes, to forget that we didn't choose our bodies, we didn't choose anything that we are right now, we didn't choose those differences. So mirroring someone is totally different than you. You think, oh, your mind or your ego might be like, oh yeah, but I have, it's not.
Yeah. Well, it's another version of what you were saying, both of you were saying about, you get out of we get to push some of that stuff away, and even though but we come up against it, even in this little simple exercise. And that's, I think, the power of performance. These little simple exercises can sort of like really shake you out of the norm and can help you think about some things in some really different ways. Okay, yes, I'm sorry, Janelle.
Even before you said that exercise, I knew exactly what you was talking about. And I love this exercise actually because not only is it being exposed to your partner, it's also very comforting. It's also very relaxing to do this with someone very slowly, you know?
Yeah.
And he has beautiful eyes, by the way. I do love this exercise, I really do.
Yeah, I love what you're saying. It's we live in a world that moves so fast. So some of what this is slowing down and looking at each other and thinking about or losing ourselves in the movement, and it's a great thing.